Welcome to Mysteries and Legends, where the unexplained meets the unforgettable. I'm your host, Don from Investigation 13. Join me on a journey into the unknown, where we'll explore the strange, the bizarre, and the inexplicable. From ghostly encounters to cryptic legends, we'll dive into the stories that will leave you questioning what's real and what's just beyond the veil. From ghostly encounters to unexplained mysteries, we'll explore the most bizarre events from around the world.
Welcome to Mysteries and Legends, where the unexplained meets the unforgettable. Unforgettable. I'm your host, Don from Investigation 13. Join me on a journey into the unknown. We'll explore the strange, the bizarre, and the inexplicable. From ghostly encounters to cryptic legends, we'll dive into the stories that will leave you questioning what's real and what's just beyond the veil. From ghostly encounters to unexplained mysteries, we'll explore the most bizarre events from around the world. Yeah.
Investigation 1, The Spirit of Sacramento. On the night of October 27, 2023, Stonie, Maria, and Tony prepared for their paranormal investigation at the Spirit of Sacramento, an abandoned riverboat formerly known as the Puta, located in Sacramento, California. The trio had met through an online forum, bonding over their shared fascination with the supernatural. Despite their geographical differences, they had formed a strong bond, and their friendship had grown stronger with each passing day. As they arrived at the Spirit of Sacramento, a chill ran down their spines. The riverboat loomed before them, its massive hull seeming to stretch out like a skeletal hand, beckoning them to come aboard. The group's equipment was top-notch, and they quickly set to work, securing cameras, audio recorders, and EMF meters. The Spirit of Sacramento had a long and storied history, dating back to the early 20th century. Built in 1912, the riverboat had once been a popular mode of transportation, carrying passengers and cargo along the Sacramento River. However, its history took a dark turn in 1928, when a fire broke out on board, killing several passengers and crew members. "All right, ladies, let's get started," Stonie said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We'll split up and cover more ground. Maria, you're with me on the main deck. Tony, you're on your own downstairs. We'll meet back here in an hour to review our findings." Tony nodded and descended into the darkness of the lower decks. The air grew colder with each step, and she could feel the weight of history bearing down upon her. As she explored the cramped corridors, she began to sense a presence around her. At first, it was just a faint whisper, but soon, the whispers grew louder, more urgent. Tony's heart pounded in her chest as she realized she was not alone. It was 10:45 p.m., and Tony was standing in the very spot where the fire had started, according to historical records. She felt a chill run down her spine as she imagined the panic and chaos that had ensued on that fateful night. Suddenly, a figure materialized before her. It was a young woman, dressed in a flowing white gown, her eyes black as coal. Tony froze, her voice caught in her throat. "Hello?" the ghostly woman whispered, her voice like a sigh on the wind. "My name is Elizabeth. I was a passenger on this boat many years ago. I died under mysterious circumstances, and my spirit has been trapped here ever since." Tony's fear gave way to curiosity, and she reached out to Elizabeth. The ghost's presence was icy cold, but Tony felt a deep sadness emanating from her. "I'll help you find peace," Tony promised. "But first, I need to know what happened to you." Elizabeth's form began to fade, but not before she whispered a single word: "Murder." Tony's eyes widened as she realized the gravity of Elizabeth's situation. She began to ask more questions, trying to piece together the events surrounding Elizabeth's death. As Tony investigated further, she discovered that Elizabeth had been on her way to meet her fiancé, James, when she boarded the Puta on the night of October 13, 1928. But something had gone terribly wrong. Tony couldn't shake the feeling that Elizabeth's death was more than just a simple murder, it was a tragedy that had been covered up. Tony spent the next few hours exploring the lower decks, uncovering more evidence of paranormal activity. She captured audio recordings of strange whispers and footsteps, and her EMF meter spiked repeatedly. But it was her encounter with Elizabeth that would stay with her forever. Meanwhile, Stonie and Maria explored the main deck, their flashlights casting eerie shadows on the walls. They discovered a room that seemed untouched by time, the furniture still arranged as if the passengers had just stepped away. Maria, ever the skeptic, began to scan the room with her EMF meter, searching for any signs of paranormal activity. Suddenly, the meter began to spike, and Maria's eyes widened. "Stonie, I've got something here." Stonie rushed to her side, and together, they witnessed a bizarre phenomenon. The lights on the EMF meter continued to rise, and the air around them seemed to charge with electricity. "Hello!" menacing growl filled the air, making the hairs on the back of their necks stand on end. A figure began to take shape before them, its presence malevolent and threatening. Stonie recognized the spirit as Captain James Wilson, the captain of the Puta on that fateful night in 1928. "Get out while you still can," Captain Wilson's ghost hissed, his voice like a snake slithering through the grass. "This boat has a dark history, and you're not welcome here." Stonie stood her ground, refusing to back down. "We're here to help you find peace, Captain." "What happened to you?" The captain's form began to dissipate, but not before he spoke of the tragic accident, the fire that had ravaged the boat, claiming many lives. His spirit, consumed by guilt and anger, had lingered, seeking revenge on the living. Stonie felt a pang of sympathy for the captain, despite his brutal nature. She realized that his actions were a product of his time and that he, too, was a victim of circumstance. As the hour drew to a close, the three friends reunited, sharing their experiences. Tony spoke of Elizabeth, the passenger who died under mysterious circumstances. Stonie and Maria recounted their encounter with Captain Wilson. They compared notes, piecing together the events of the night. The investigation had been a success, but as they packed up their gear and bid farewell to the spirit of Sacramento, the three friends couldn't help but wonder, had they truly helped the spirits they encountered, or had they simply stirred up a hornet's nest of paranormal activity? Investigation 2, The Delta King. A few nights later, on November 3, 2023, the three friends arrived at the Delta King, a historic paddle-wheel riverboat turned hotel and theater, located at 1002nd Street, Sacramento, California. They were eager to begin their next investigation. As they explored the labyrinthine corridors of the Delta King, Maria began to feel an intense, unsettling energy. The Delta King had its dark history, dating back to the 1920s. Built in 1927, the riverboat had once been a popular mode of entertainment, hosting jazz performances and dancing. However, it had also been the site of numerous tragedies, including a fire in 1933 that had killed several crew members. As they explored the Delta King, they discovered that the room where the fire had occurred was now a hotel room, number 315. Maria felt a chill run down her spine as she entered the room, her EMF meter spiking in response to the intense energy. Suddenly, a small, ghostly child materialized before her. The child, Emily, was dressed in a white nightgown, her eyes big and round. Maria felt a deep sorrow emanating from Emily, a sense of loss and longing. "Hello?" Maria whispered, her voice trembling. Emily didn't respond, but instead began to hum a soft, melancholy tune. Maria felt a deep connection to Emily, and she vowed to help the child find peace. As the night wore on, the group encountered more spirits, each with its own tragic tale. They captured evidence of unexplained phenomena, their equipment beeping and flashing in response to the paranormal activity. But it was Maria's encounter with Emily that would stay with them forever. The group spent the next few hours exploring the Delta King, uncovering more evidence of paranormal activity. They captured audio recordings of strange whispers and footsteps, and their EMF meters spiked repeatedly. But it was the sense of sadness and loss that permeated the air that would stay with them forever. The group spent the next few hours exploring the Delta King, uncovering more evidence of paranormal activity. They captured audio recordings of strange whispers and footsteps, and their EMF meters spiked repeatedly. But it was the sense of sadness and loss that permeated the air that would stay with them forever. As they packed up their gear and bid farewell to the Delta King, Maria couldn't shake the feeling that Emily's spirit still lingered, trapped in a world of sorrow and regret. The investigation had been a success, but as they drove away from Sacramento, the three friends couldn't help but wonder, had they truly helped the spirits they encountered, or had they simply stirred up a hornet's nest of paranormal activity? The two investigations had been a testament to the trio's bond and determination. Despite the distance between them, they had formed a deep connection, one that transcended the physical realm. They knew that they would continue to investigate the paranormal, side by side, forever bound by their shared experiences. As they drove into the night, they couldn't help but wonder what other secrets lay hidden, waiting to be uncovered. The darkness was full of mysteries, but with their bond and their determination, they knew that they would uncover the truth, no matter what lay ahead. The three friends arrived back at their homes, exhausted but exhilarated by their experiences. They knew that they would never forget the nights they spent investigating the spirit of Sacramento and the Delta King. The memories of the paranormal activity they encountered would stay with them forever, a reminder of the mysteries that lay beyond the veil of the living. As they settled in for the night, they couldn't help but wonder what the future held for them. Would they encounter more spirits, more paranormal activity? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain, they would face it together, as a team. The darkness closed in around them, but they knew that they were not alone. The spirits they encountered would stay with them forever, a reminder of the mysteries that lay beyond the veil of the living. And as they drifted off to sleep, they knew that they would be back out there, investigating the paranormal, uncovering the truth, and facing whatever lay ahead, together.